Dr. Stella has come a long way with me professionally, and I'm one of those globally that have endorsed Bridge. I look at her as a daughter academically because I was a director in Nigeria when she was doing her doctorate in Portsmouth University, and it was relevance that discovered the two of us. As then director in the Federal Ministry of Education, I'm talking about 2005, 2006, 2009. I took our agency, Teacher Registration Council of Nigeria, online, the first professional regulatory body in Africa to go online to start registration of qualified teachers. And while she was studying in the UK, she was amazed to discover us through the web. She contacted me, and the sweet part of it is that she was able to get permission of her university to do her doctorate on Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. So she holds a degree that was directly or indirectly validated by my agency when I was a director. And after my tenure, because when Jonathan came in, His Excellency, we were asked to stay 8 years as directors and PAM secretary to move on. I was appointed as the executive director for regulating teaching in Africa. So I currently coordinate 55 countries, their ministries of education, and their own teacher registration council. I just came in and we just had our continental event. And I'm also a member of the executive committee of the World Body for Regulating Teaching. So I have seen it all national, and I hold the executive portfolio at continental and global levels. And I keep talking about education in the last 20-something years. My university is University of Calabar. I'm a professor of sociology of education. I look younger than my qualifications. When I had my doctorate degree, they used to think I was a medical doctor. They used to call me young doc. So when they realized it's PhD in my early 20s, they are like marveled. So I became a director, a professor, and all of that way ahead of my age. I have been a professor for 10 years. I'm a professor at the bar. So if I'm in the National Assembly, I'll be a high-ranking National Assembly member. That's not to brag, but it's important to inspire you that whatever you want to do, sustain relevance. If you are not relevant, you won't make it ahead of your peers, like my colleagues have said. So when I had to put my agency online, I made a lot of friends. People paid to get me to US because we became visible. And many people couldn't believe that what we are doing was happening in Nigeria, mostly Nigerians. I flew from New York to Atlanta across the US by Nigerians in IT in different universities who said they are very proud of what is coming out of Nigeria. And those made a great part of the cream of, my career and what I could remember. That's what you talk about relevance. You have to take it out from being the ordinary to the extraordinary. Sometime I read Master of Business Administration. So apart from speaking education, I speak business administration. We define strategy. Strategy is doing something normal in an extraordinary way or something new, totally new. You call it innovation. They are all strategy. So when you want to do anything, no matter how simple it is, even if it's ordinary good morning, you can do it in an extraordinary way, and that would be a hype for you. That is relevance. We're coming to what is happening today. You might be aware that the Secretary General of UN is trying to fine-tune SDG 4. You might have heard about that. So he's calling a global conference, Transforming Education Summit. And all member states of the UN are reworking their education system. And 5 tracks, 5 teams have been given. Nigeria, as we speak, is reworking its SDG 4 because there will be a summit in September by UN purely on education, and it's called Transforming Education Summit, TES. So all member states of UN are reworking their SDG 4, and it's arising out of the fact that COVID-19 has made a lot of disruptions. And even before then, as your flyers indicated, there have been learning crisis. World Bank report and UNICEF report and UNH, Human Rights Commission on Refugees, all their reports show there have been crisis. If you go to learning achievements in Nigeria, they hover around 30%, 40% in English in the relevant subjects. If you go to out-of-school children, I still look at people talk about out-of-school children as being about 10 million, but we have the raw data. Brother, it is about 18.7 million in Nigeria currently. You go to UBEC, they give you about 12.7 million primary. This is data of 2018, raw data, national survey, UBEC, authoritative. And then you go to the basic education sector, you're having about another 7 to 8 million. You go to statistics published by UNESCO Institute for Statistics. So in Nigeria currently, UNICEF and others, for over 10 years, we kept talking about 10 million out-of-school children and validating it today to be no less than 18.7 million out-of-school children. That is a big worry. And so when we are refining, looking about sustenance and relevance and leapfrogging and meeting SDG 4, we must be looking at what to do with 18.7 million out-of-school children. When you also come to the area of work, you now know that work is another crisis. They say poverty capital of the world. These are the things, well, I was requested by UNESCO Paris to join the Nigerian team. So we just had our preliminary dialogue in Sheraton recently. And we have been discussing all of this. So I am happy. I'm not here to give a keynote speech, but I'm looking at areas that would, bring you together with what Nigeria is discussing currently and what in September the UN will be discussing. They are talking about 5 things. 1, inclusive and healthy skills. Schools. 5 themes that every country, no exclusion, has been given by the UN General Secretary to come back with what happened in those areas and how can you catch up by 2030. Those 5 areas are: 1, inclusive and healthy, equitable, quality schools. Our schools don't have these characteristics. They are not safe, inclusive, equitable, quality, healthy, safe schools. We don't have them. With crises of kidnapping and banditry and all sorts of crises having across the country, many children are saying, I'm not going back to school. So how can our schools sustain relevance if you don't have a quality, equitable, safe, and healthy school? The second track, they call it action tracks, is the issue of learning and learning for work, or learning for skills, learning. Does it lead you to work? Does it lead you to employment and careers? Learning and learning for work. That's the second. The third is teaching. Teachers and the teaching profession, because teacher is the pivot. No matter the technology we talk about, the teacher, sorry how soon right now, the teacher would always have something to do. And the fourth is digital learning and transformation. And finally, financing. These are 5 themes the whole world is working around now to fine-tune SDG 4. I do hope that somehow you brush through all of these and knit them together and possibly tie them to what Nigeria and the UN in September will be talking about, because that will be a sub-SDG 4 that will soon be in the making. And in all of these, if we're able to provide some immediate and distant answers, then we must have sustained contributed to the discussion on relevance. Thank you very much.